UFC 307 is tomorrow. As we always do on this channel, I'm going to run down the full card from the early prelims to the main event. You know me, I'm Mr. Fight Companion. We get on here, we talk MMA, we love doing it. That's just what we do. So let's start off with the first fight on the early prelims, Court McGee versus Tim Means. When I first saw this fight, I was thinking like Battle of the Bums, but total respect to anybody who fights in MMA. I just felt like, there's nothing like too crazy with this fight. I feel like both guys get caught on the feet a lot. Their striking defense doesn't really seem to be too tight or too good. But I think Court McGee has an edge because of his grappling. But Tim Means seems to be the favorite, I guess, because of how easily Court McGee gets caught. Tim Means gets caught pretty easily too, but later in rounds. I think Court McGee gets caught a lot, right out of the fucking box. So I see why people are choosing Tim Means, but I'm going to live on the wild side here, live on the edge, go big or go home. You only live once, YOLO, all that shit. I'm going to go with Court McGee. I think Court McGee is going to grapple. He's strong there. He's strong against the cage, in the clinch. I think he gets Tim Means against the clinch. I think he goes for trips. I think he goes to, for fully being able to pick Tim Means up, flip him, throw him on the ground, hold him there for essentially the entire fight. I think Court McGee makes this fight boring, but dominates. And I think that's like a dangerous pick. I don't think this is my one pick on this card that I'm not, maybe one of two picks on this card that I'm not fully this is like my risk. This is my risk pick. All right, this is my one or two risky picks out of this entire card. So I'm gonna go with Court McGee. I'm feeling Court McGee. I was gonna go with Tim Means. I was gonna go along with the favorite, but something inside, something in my head, like a little voice at the back of my fucking head was saying, go with Court McGee. He's gonna show you something with his grappling, So I don't think Tim Means will be able to get it done early with his striking. Although Tim Means' striking is pretty good. I like how he's able to utilize his range. He has a nice jab. He can really beat people up, especially over a certain number of rounds. So he could definitely do that against Court McGee. But I think Court McGee will be able to avert that, take Tim Means to the ground, hold him there, So that's what I got for that fight. Moving on. Carla Esparza versus Tessia Pennington. I guess, we all know Carla Esparza. She was a UFC women's champ long ago. I think she's essentially was hated for making fights boring. She doesn't have the most entertaining fighting style, but her wrestling, looks outstanding. I rewatched her fights. Very nice ground game. I think she'll be able to utilize it against Tessia Pennington. And that's really all she wrote, literally. But yeah, I think Carla Esparza gets this done. Esparza gets this done in 5. I'll go for a 5-round full fight decision win. I'll even be more specific and go unanimous decision. Same thing I have for Court McGee versus Tim Means. If I didn't say that already. Moving on, Ryan Spann versus Ovince St. Preux. Again, apologize for butchering names. I'm trying my best. Ryan Spann, Ovince St. Preux. We got Ryan Spann. This guy is strong. Superman Spann. He's got these really heavy jabs, really heavy overhands. He's gotten people like Dominic Reyes with them. He's a strong guy. I think, although these jabs and overhands are heavy and strong, they could be a bit slow. He has gotten caught. He got caught before. Forgot by who. I don't think I wrote the name of the fucking guy down. But Ryan Spann's like overhands and hooks, although they're strong and powerful, can be also kind of slow. But more often than not, they land, and I think they're really effective. He's a bit of a slugger, fast, powerful hooks. He's also got decent wrestling too, decent ground game. He goes for takedowns. If he's not able to get what he can on the feet, He'll be able to gladly take it to the ground. You know, I think the only thing with the ground game stuff is that he just needs to be aware of where the fuck he's placing his head. Because when he fought, you know, when he fights guys like Johnny Walker, sometimes his head is wide open when he's trying to dive for that double leg or single leg. And then, you know, like what happened when he fought Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is really just able to send like 4 or 5 hammer fists to the side of his head and just knock him out. So I think he's got to be careful of that. But, you know, on the other side of the octagon, we got Ovin St. Pro. Again, I'm really struggling with the fucking last name, but I'm gonna just call him Ovin or OSP. I think a lot of the guys call him OSP. OSP. He's a patient guy. I think that's gonna work against him. It takes him a while to get going, is what I see from him. He's got a nice jab. The patience could also work to his advantage at sometimes because he can, you know, look for reads, look for repetitive movements or repetitive strike attempts, and then he could capitalize on it with a counter strike, you know. So, I mean, it could work to his advantage, but, you know, in round one, it really doesn't because it takes you a while to read your opponent or learn your opponent's moves or adjust your opponent's pace. And that's what happened in OSP's last fight. Trying to see if I got the name of the guy he fought. Well, I guess I didn't. It's OSP's last fight. Literally look up his last fight. He was too patient. He was too slow. It took him too long to get into a rhythm, to find his fighting style, to find his pace, and then he just got overwhelmed because of it. So I'm going to go with Ryan Spann. I think Ryan Spann overwhelms OSP. Again, he's powerful. He's not very fast with the 1-2s, but he's fast enough to get you and clip you. I think he'll be able to do that to OSP, and I think he'll be able to do it in round one. So I have Ryan Spann via TKO in round one against OSP. OSP is pretty good too. I think he's just, you know, he's good against fighters where he can, you know, where his opponent can also embrace that slow pace. He's good against fighters where, you know, he'll be able to take his time. I think Ryan Spann's going to be able to rush him and just take him out early. So I don't think that works for the benefit of OSP. Like I said, OSP would really, you know, succeed against a slower paced fighter or a fighter who's going to welcome a chess match or a point fighting game, you know. So that's just my decision on that. Ryan Spann takes it in round one. That's the early prelims. Now we're into the actual prelims. Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Potieria. I used to be a fan of Ihor. Fucking last year I used to be a fan of this guy. But let me tell you why. Ihor, you know, he looks the part. I love the tattoos, the hair, the beard. He looks very, you know, Dagestani mixed with some European in there. Make it real swaggy, real cool, real Chad-like. You know, until I actually saw him fight. The guy's a goofball. He reminds me a lot of Johnny Walker, actually. I think I would love to see him fight Johnny Walker. I think that would be a really interesting fight. But Ihor Potieria is a goofball. You know, he's fast, but a little sloppy. He's gotten caught a lot in his career. And he's going up in this fight against Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida, who is relatively new, is pretty good. You know, I liked his counter grappling in one of his first fights. He did recently, like after that first fight, he did get dominated. However, he lost a fight via decision. So I mean, he's able to get controlled on the ground. Like I think, you know, if he was to fight like a good grappler, there would be some problems for him. But you know, the good news is Ihor Potieria is not a grappler. Just isn't. He's a striker, which makes it just makes it even worse for him, for Ihor. He's really just a cartoon. I mean, I can't even when I try to forget the celebration he did when he beat Shogun Rua, I still can't. I think that was some at a Fortnite or something. I don't know where he got that celebration from. He's just a big goofball. I think the only thing he's got working for him is his speed, because he is pretty fast, you know. Basically all of his striking is pretty fast, so he could essentially beat guys up, but you know, with that speed, you know, pertaining to him at least, with that speed comes a lack of power. He's not that powerful, you know, even though he's able to touch you pretty fast. There's not much power behind it. So I'm going to have to go with Cesar Almeida. I think it's pretty much a lock. Anything could happen. It's the fight game. But Ihor is just so much of a goofball, man. I can't I can't choose him. And I used to be a fan because he looks so cool. He looks like a champion. He looks like a future, you know, champion, man. He looks the part. He just isn't. Next up is Austin Hubbard, Alexander Hernandez. We all know Austin Hubbard from a recent tough season, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, that tough season. Austin Hubbard looks great. This guy, I mean, he's well-rounded. I think he's well-rounded. I think his striking is really good. He's pretty fast. He's able to make reads pretty well. And his ground game is good too. He shoots takedowns pretty well as well. And although his ground game isn't stellar, he's decent, you know. So I think he is adequately or decently well-rounded. And I like that for him. I think he also likes to go to war with people. He's not much of a quitter. I think he doesn't have much quit in him. I think he likes to go to war with people. I think he's built to go to war with people, you know, strike for strike, getting bloody, and, you know, still going up top to the body and then shooting a takedown, like stuff like that. To me, screams Austin Hubbard. So I like him, and I think he's still got a decently bright future, especially for a lightweight fighter, even though lightweight is extremely competitive. But yeah, I like the guy. And forgot the guy that he lost to for the tough series. I'm blanking at names, but yeah, Austin Hubbard is a G. I think he's well-rounded. I think he's still hungry, and he's smart. He's fighting Alexander Hernandez. Alexander Hernandez, definitely not as much liked as Austin Hubbard, and not really well liked at all by anyone. It's because of the whole controversy when he challenged Cowboy Cerrone, and he shot a lot of disrespectful comments at Cowboy Cerrone, and then to add insult to injury, he lost to Cowboy Cerrone, and in devastating fashion. You know, got caught up top with a head kick, went down, and then Cowboy Cerrone was able to finish him with ground and pound. So he was essentially fraud checked by Cowboy. Ever since then, meh. I like his energy. I think he's very energetic. I think he still has potential. He always kind of has had potential. He's not. I don't think he's much of a counter striker. Like I don't think he goes to war quite as much as Austin Hubbard. I don't think he's got that dog in him as much as Austin Hubbard. His striking is decent. I think his grappling is a bit below, not a little below decent, but not quite decent. But again, I like his energy though. He has an amazing drive, and I think that's what makes him, you know, that's what's gotten him pretty far, is his drive. So I like that about him, at least, you know. So yeah, these two are coming together, and they're fighting. I'm gonna go with Austin Hubbard. Again, I think he likes to go to war. I think even if these two were to make it competitive and go band for band, punch for punch, I think Austin Hubbard comes out on top. Let me think if I have anything else for this one. Yeah, I think Austin Hubbard comes out on top. If you asked me specifically by what, I'm going to go with Austin Hubbard via decision. I'll go Austin Hubbard by unanimous decision. I think Austin Hubbard basically batters him for 5 rounds, but I don't think Austin Hubbard has enough to finish Alexander Hernandez. So I think you know, Hernandez will be in it. You know, he'll have some moments, but I think Austin Hubbard will have way more moments than Alexander Hernandez will. So I'm going to go with Austin Hubbard via unanimous decision. I think the guy's a war machine, and I look forward to seeing what else he does, you know? So, yeah. Next up, women's fight, Marina Rodriguez, Yasmin Lucindo. Marina Rodriguez, tall for the women's division, and a good striker. I think I would consider her to be a bit of a sniper. Her striking is pretty clean, pretty precise. She's going up against Yasmin Lucindo. Yasmin Lucindo, who surprisingly has a longer reach than Rodriguez does, also has really, really good ground game. She's the favorite. I understand why, and I'm going to go with Yasmin Lucindo. I think that she's going to be able to bring Marina Rodriguez to the ground and probably just search for a submission throughout the entire fight. Maybe even get it. So with that, I'm going to go with Yasmin Lucindo, round 3 submission on Marina Rodriguez. Round 3 submission. She searches for it. She gets it. Takes Marina Rodriguez down probably a number of times. You know, I'm willing to bet even like 3 times. And then probably on the 3rd time, search for that submission and get it. Submit Marina Rodriguez in the 3rd. So, yeah, that's what I got for that fight. Next up is the final fight on the prelims. A much looked forward to fight. A fight that many fighters are looking forward to. Especially the hardcore fans. Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. What can I say that hasn't been said about this guy? Legend. Great fighter. Great striker. Also underrated ground game. And just a legend of the sport. He's done so much. Versus Joaquin Buckley. He's done a number of stuff. Still young. 30 years old. Monstrous kicks. Decent ground game. Decent striking. And great energy. But monstrous kicks. We all know him from that highlight he had with that spinning, what was it, like a spinning heel kick off one leg or something like that. Something crazy like that he landed. It looked like some ninja shit. Something straight out of Mortal Kombat. Or that one well-known ninja movie. Forgot the name of it. But yeah, Joaquin Buckley looks good in this. I love Wonderboy Thompson. Do not get me wrong. But as I've said for many of my videos on this channel so far, I'm a big age guy. I think age has a lot to do with certain fights. I think youth is a huge advantage, and Joaquin Buckley has that advantage by like fucking 10 years. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's like 41 or 40, so Joaquin has like a 10-year advantage. But I think, you know, Buckley has a lot to learn still, but he's on the rise. I think he's coming into his own. I think he's improving at a steady rate. And this will be a big breakout moment for him to show the MMA world that he's ready to be in the spotlight. He's ready for a belt, you know? So I think Buckley takes this one. I think it'll be pretty competitive in the first. Thompson's not going to go down without a fight. I don't know how to call this specifically, though. I'm going to go with Buckley by decision. I think the kicks will hurt Wonderboy Thompson, but I don't know if they'll knock him out. I'm going to go with Buckley by decision. I think Thompson will have moments. I think there'll be some exchanges, but I think Buckley, you know, is going to cause more damage, and he's going to land more than Thompson does. He might even bring the fight to the ground and hold Thompson there for a bit, but I think Buckley is going to utilize them strong-ass kicks he's got, and he's going to cause damage on Thompson, which is going to, you know, ultimately sway the judges to his side and win Buckley a unanimous decision at the end. So I'm going to go with Buckley via unanimous decision against Wonderboy Thompson. Yeah, Buckley by unanimous decision, yeah. Yeah, lock it in. I'm locking it in. Buckley by unanimous decision against Wonderboy Thompson. All right, we're back. We're on to the main card now without taking too much time. We really have. It's fucking 19 minutes. Damn. Okay, main card. Ketlin Veda versus Kayla Harrison. I'm obviously going to go with Kayla Harrison. That woman is a monster. She could probably beat some of the men featherweights or flyweights. So some of the male flyweights she may be able to beat. I don't know. Juice to the gills, she is. Looks like Well, yeah, the Brock Lesnar thing is too easy, but you know she's really, 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 really definitely on steroids, or has been on steroids for a long time. She's really just absolutely mutated, but she's, again, very strong, very, very dominant. You know, I'm not taking anything away from her. Totally respect her. You know, and I think she's definitely getting a belt. She's one of those fighters that just come in and just dominate, and she's gonna do that against Ketlin Veda. I had nothing much to say about that fight. Nothing else to really say. Next up, Roman Dolidze, Kevin Holland. We got Roman Dolidze. This guy is decent. I think, you know, overall, I would describe him as decent. His striking is good. His ground game is good. And you know, I think him being able to hold his own in light heavyweight and middleweight should show that. You know, he's a well-rounded guy, and pretty smart too, pretty high IQ, not extremely high. That being said, he's going up against Kevin Holland. I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland. I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland because of his reach. He's been known to be a sniper. Can't really sleep on his ground game either. He can catch you there as well. But I think Kevin Holland really just jabs and 1-2s Roman Dolidze into oblivion. He baits with a jab, and then he lands a heavy cross exactly on the nose or on the chin of Roman Dolidze that either puts him out or hurts him and sends him right to the ground, to where Kevin Holland can approach and finish Roman via ground and pound. So Kevin Holland wins this fight, in my opinion. In my pick, I think Kevin Holland takes it. If I had to give you specifics, Kevin Holland takes it in round 2. I think he finds his range in round 1, and then he utilizes his newly found range in round 2 and snipes Roman Dolidze and sends him to the shadow realm in round 2. So yeah, that's what I got for that fight. Next up, Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. This is a fight I was going to make a video about, but didn't end up getting around to it. So I might as well talk about it here. We got Mario Bautista. I think, you know, his grappling has always been good. We've seen it, especially in a small streak of his fights in his career. He's had a lot of first round submissions, and his striking is improving too. I think he's an up and comer, but I think Jose Aldo's still there. You know, if I had to really tell you guys where I think Jose Aldo is in his prime, I think he's still just within his prime. I would label Jose Aldo as just within his prime. I think he's really, really close to breaking out of his prime and getting too old for fighting, but he's in it. I think Jose Aldo's still in it, and he's shown it too. I think he's really, really durable. I think his striking is still there, and I think his hunger is still there too. And I think if he gets another belt, if he's able to get the bantamweight belt, he's up there in GOAT status. He's up there. He's a guy. You can't deny he's up there. You can't deny he's up there. So I'm going to go with Jose Aldo for this fight. I think Jose Aldo is going to... Do I say he's going to knock him out? Yeah, for the sake of entertainment and living on the edge a little bit, I'm gonna go Jose Aldo via TKO in the final round against Mario Bautista. I think Mario survives most of the fight, and then Jose Aldo just turns on the jets, goes for something heavy in the final round, and it clips Bautista right on the chin. So that's what I'm doing. Jose Aldo, last round TKO. Next up, we got our last 2 fights, the co-main and main event. The co-main, Raquel Pennington, Juliana Pena. Lots of bad blood between these 2 fighters, so it should make for an entertaining fight. Raquel Pennington, very dominant. A lot of people will say boring, but again, I will still argue it's dominant. Although it's not the most entertaining way of winning fights, it's still effective. It's mixed martial arts. What the fuck are you going to do? All right? You can't complain. She's still fighting. She's in the cage. Although she's using methods that aren't entertaining and aren't like, oh, wow, she hit this uppercut. Oh, wow, a spinning back kicker. Oh, wow, you know, spinning back fist or some shit like that. You know, it's still effective. You know, she's able to grapple well. She's able to bring her opponents into the clinch and just work. Just work in the clinch, work on the ground, work up top, but especially in the clinch. You know, we're talking about frequent hammer fists in the clinch, frequent knees to the legs. She's active. Frequent hammer fists and knees or kicks on the ground as well. She's very active. We got Juliana Pena, who also is a monster. You know, she's really powerful, and she's smart. You know, she was able to, I think she was able to submit the women's MMA GOAT. I'm even blanking at her name. Gosh, man. What the hell am I doing? Amanda Nunes. She was able to submit Amanda Nunes, the women's MMA GOAT. And she's smart. You know, she's smart. Not only that, she's loud. She speaks her mind. She always talks about how quiet Raquel is and how that's bad for women's MMA. All this other shit, whatever. I got Raquel Pennington winning. Her fighting style is just way too dominant. I think she brings Juliana Pena into the clinch or straight up onto the ground and just works and just, you know, builds up points. She'll point fight while on the ground or in the clinch and just win via points when they get to decision. So I got Raquel Pennington winning via unanimous decision. She'll take Juliana Pena through all 5 and just stay busy in the clinch, stay busy on the ground, but, you know, in all aspects involving ground games. So, yeah, it's not the most entertaining fighting style. It's not even entertaining to begin with, but it's a fighting style and it's effective. So you got to tell the truth here. You got to call it. You got to call them like you sees them. You got to call them like you sees them. I'm just calling it like I see it. Raquel Pennington's going to dominate Juliana Pena. It's been written in the stars for months. Next up, the last fight. Alex Pereira, Khalil Roundtree, big fight. I made a video on it a couple days ago, so I don't have to say much in this video, especially because I'm running on long, like 27 minutes already. This fight will be competitive. I think it's a beautiful fight. I think the UFC cooked with this one. Although Roundtree didn't deserve it, I don't think Roundtree still deserves this fight. But he's here, he's ready, and he's fighting. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's going to be a beautiful connection of fighting styles. I think it's going to be a classic Muay Thai fight. Although Alex Pereira is more of a kickboxer, I think he's still well versed in Muay Thai, and I think it's going to be a good, effective, fun Muay Thai fight. Textbook Muay Thai, classic Muay Thai, and if you're a Muay Thai fighter, you'll enjoy it and learn a lot from it. I think it'll be a workshop, and I think Khalil Roundtree will get the better of Alex Pereira. I think his defense will be much better than anybody who Alex Pereira has ever faced. And I think he'll rely on, I think I'm going to rely on that, on the strength of that defense for Khalil to win. I think Khalil will utilize it, and then he'll also return with those classic Muay Thai combinations. We're talking overhands, we're talking jabs, we're talking leg kicks, head kicks, body kicks, all types of kicks, all types of punches too, all within the realm of Muay Thai. Can't forget about the elbows and teeps as well. Khalil Roundtree takes this via unanimous decision or a split decision, but I'm going to go with unanimous decision win by Khalil Roundtree Jr. To end that fight, and Khalil Roundtree will become the new light heavyweight champion, and Alex Pereira, who has a lot, to do, like he's still going to have things to do and things going on, even if he loses this fight. He may very well win it. I'm not disregarding that Alex is a powerful left hand, powerful head kicks too. So he could send Khalil Roundtree to the shadow realm, but I'm going to put my money on Khalil winning. And I'll definitely probably do it by tonight. But I think Khalil Roundtree is going to win this. And Alex will likely go either down to middleweight or up to heavyweight because he's called out Dricus and he's talked about fighting Time Aspinall before. So I think he's going to go down first. I think he'll go down to middleweight one last time to face Dricus and beat Dricus. And if he does beat Dricus and gets the middleweight championship belt, then Alex Pereira is most likely number 4 or 5 on the UFC GOAT list. That'll end it. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like, leave a comment down below about what you think. And let's talk about it. As long as we're respectful to each other, I'm here to conversate and talk, man. I love talking about this stuff. And I love you guys. So let me know what you think. like, subscribe. I will be live on YouTube, and I'll be live on TikTok for tomorrow for the entire UFC 307 card. Hit me up, like, subscribe. I love y'all. See y'all in the next.